Let's do some other problems based on the properties of whole numbers. And in this question, you have to simplify this particular expression. That is, this particular expression is 126 multiplied by 55 plus 126 multiplied by 45, and you have to solve this question by simplifying it. Okay, it should not be like you are just straightly multiplied 126 by 55 and then 126 by 45 and then you added it. You have to simplify. You have to use the properties of whole numbers that we have discussed in the prior videos. So it's like here you could see that you have 126 in common here, right? Both, this is the addition sign, this is the addition sign, and here it is 126 and here it is 126. Okay, so by the property of distributivity, we know that we can write A multiplied by B plus C as A times B plus B times C, or A multiplied by B and plus B multiplied by C. So this is a property of distributivity, right? Distributivity. So in a similar way here, like, sorry, it's not B, it's A, my mistake. It's A, right? So here you can take so what you can do with this one is, with this expression is, like, you can take A common, right? A is both the places and it would be B plus C again, right? You can get the same thing here. So in this question also you can take 126 is the number which is on both the places, and therefore it would be 126 times 55 plus 45. I hope that this is a very basic mathematics that we all know, and therefore you would get 126 multiplied by 55 plus 45 is 100, and therefore you would get 12,600, right? You will multiply by 100 and you will get this answer. So at your level, whatever question it would be asked, it would be just, you know, always would get some number in either in the multiple of 10 or in the multiple of 100 or multiple of 1000 or multiple of 10,000, and you would see this pattern in every question, right? You have to find the answer in the form, your answer would be in this range only, that is in the multiple of tens, either in the multiple of 100 or multiple of 10,000. Let's take one more example for, another question for on the same property of distributivity. So here you could see that whenever you find that you have this common number, like in both the places, okay, and therefore here you will use the distributivity property of whole numbers. So by the distributivity property of whole numbers, you take 297 times 17 plus 3. This is a very basic mathematics, we all know that, and therefore it would be 297 multiplied by 17 plus 3 is 20. Right. Now you can multiply this and you will get the answer. So the answer would be 14, 19, 5 and 4. You can do this, like I just straightly multiplied without doing any rough solution, or you can do like this, 297 multiplied by 20, and then you will get the same answer, 5,940. So this would be the answer for this question, and you can again see that it's containing it has 0 at its last. Similarly, it was having 0. So the problems that would be asked to you would be more or less like the answer would be in the multiples of 10, 100 or thousands, like that only. So this is a problem on distributivity of whole numbers. That is a property of distributivity of whole numbers, and the question is that college canteen charges ₹50 for breakfast and ₹100 for the lunch for a single day, and how much money would you spend on these for 5 days? Like for one single day, for breakfast it's ₹50, and for lunch it is ₹100, right? So how much money you are spending for single day? It is for single day, it would be rupees 50 plus 100, and that would give you rupees 150. So this is for a single day, right? For a single rupees 150. Or you can just write it like this. For a single day it would be 50 plus 100. So therefore for 5 days, it's asking for 5 days, you just multiply 5, that is 5 times 50 plus 100. Now you could see that this is something that we learned in our discussion on distributivity of whole numbers, that is the distributivity of multiplication or addition, if you remember that. And by that it would be 5 multiplied by 50 and plus 5 multiplied by 100. It's like this 5 times you will attack on first on 50 and then attack on 100. That is what we have done this here. So it would be 250 plus 500, and therefore the answer you would get is 500 plus 250 would be 750, and therefore you would say that we spend daily rupees 750. This would be the amount that you would spend in 5 days, sorry, not daily, for 5 days, rupees 750 for 5 days. So you could see that here we used the distributivity. You'd say that by distributivity of whole numbers, right? And because of that we got this answer. Okay, thanks. One day Mr. Zero took a weapon that is an operator multiplication sign, that is an operator multiply, and Mr. Zero decided to fight with all the whole numbers, and therefore Mr. Zero went with this weapon, that is multiplication sign. He went to 1, and during the fight, after the fight, it became 0. Then there was a fight between 0 and 2. It also became 0. Then with 0 and then 3, it also became 0, and so on. And with each fight it was coming to 0. So you could see that if you multiply 0 with any whole number, the answer would be 0. Each and every time the answer you would get would be 0. Now, what if Mr. Zero decided to have a fight with other having the operator plus sign, with an operator plus sign, okay, with an operator plus. And if Mr. Zero goes with this plus to 1, what would you get? You would get 1. Mr. Zero goes to 2, what you would get? You would get 2. Mr. Zero goes to 3, what you would get? You would get 3, and so on. So you'll get 4, you'll get 5. What does that mean? If you add 0 to any whole number, you would always get back that whole number. And therefore 0 is the additive identity of whole numbers. By the additive identity, we mean that if 0 is an additive identity, then if you add 0 by any number, that is by, in this case we are talking about whole numbers, therefore if you add 0 to any whole number, then you will get back the same number, okay, and therefore the 0 would be the additive identity of whole numbers. Now one day Mr. One decided, okay, Mr. One decided, give me my weapon, that is this sign, multiplication sign, as multiplication operator. And Mr. One went to fight with each and every whole number. And first they fought with, they had a fight with 1, and therefore the answer was 1. And then 1 multiplied by 2, the answer was 2. And then 1 multiplied by 3, and the answer would be 3. And 1 multiplied by 4, the answer would be 4, and so on. The answer would be 5, then 6, and then 7. So it means that if you multiply 1 by any number where a should not be equal to 0, a should not be equal to 0, because if a would be 0, like if you multiply 1 and 0, of course you are going to get 0, which we saw here, that if you multiply 0 with any number, it would become 0. And here, if you multiply 1 with any number, you'd always get back that number. Therefore, we would say that 1 is the multiplicative identity. Okay, 1 is a multiplicative identity, right? So 0 was the additive identity and 1 would be multiplicative identity. And the reason is why it's multiplicative identity, because if you multiply 1 with any number, you'll get back that number only. So here we learn two concepts: multiplicative identity and the additive identity.